Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into the 4th Autumn 2023 update from GavsWeatherVids. So here we go again, it's time to bring you more autumn data, and this time we're doing June to autumn data in terms of seating and also England and Wales precipitation, and I shall get on with that for you in a moment. Just to say that the first video today was our 6 AM UK weather forecast, and we're going to have a 10 to 14 day coming later on this afternoon. If that wasn't up, it could be a live stream at 6 PM, so for the first time in ages and ages and ages, we're going to go live on this Sunday evening. And Sunday evening live streams are returning to their original time and day, 6 PM on a Sunday. So the Monday live stream basically back to its original Sunday time and day slot. So hopefully I'll see you a little bit later on for our live stream. Please like, share, subscribe on all of today's videos. Thank you so very much, everybody, for doing that. Thank you so Richard for the amazing GavsWeatherVids 2023 Autumn Updates gift number 2. This one, we've got 2 gifts for our Autumn Update. Thank you so much, Rich, for our amazing and incredible autumn updates gifts for this season. I love it. I love the colours, so bright, so vibrant. Thank you so much, Rich. And also, I've got to say thank you to Shryan as well, Shryan Bryn, for sorting out all of the data for us for this one, sorting out all of the years. Thank you so much to Shryan, and also thank you so much to Richard, hashtag Team Gav, working away on our autumn updates. Thank you so much both. Now, before I get on with the update, just going to give you some news. So the autumn 2023 forecast is going to be released on Sunday 27th of August. Sunday 27th will be the date that we release our autumn forecast. So we've got some weeks to go before we get to the autumn forecast, and you know, plenty more data to get through, but that will be the day, that will be Judgment Day when we release the forecast, 27th of August. Right, okay, let's have a look then. So we're going to start off centering temperature. So CT for June came out at a remarkable 17 degrees, 17.0, which is 2.9 degrees above the 61 to 99 average. Of course, it makes it one of the warmest Junes on record. And so, very simply, for our first batch of analogues, we're going to be looking at the top 10, top 10 hottest Junes. So here we go, then, or autumn's following the top 10 hottest Junes. So here we go, Ben. Number 10, we've got, we love a countdown at GavsWeatherVids. Good. I'm so sorry, buddy. No, at number 10, we've got 2006. This is how the autumn of 2006 is looking, with high pressure centre to our south and southwest, low pressure is away to our west and northwest, and we bring up the wind from a mild or a warm southwesterly direction. That's a very warm autumn in 2006. Contains a really hot September, and October is very warm as well. Does get a little bit closer to average in November, but that's also a very mild. Overall, that is a really warm autumn. I think still just about warmest autumn on record. Could be wrong on that. At number 9, we've got 2005. This is another warm autumn, with high pressure building in from the east and low pressure is away to the north and to the northwest. This brings lots of dry and warm weather through most of this autumn. So September and October are both very warm months. November starts warm but turns much colder later on in the month. So November flips it around, and after a warm start turns very cold and wintry. At number 8, we've got June 2003. The autumn of 2003 looks like this, with some above average heights to our east and also out in the Atlantic, some below average heights to the south. Very warm at September, or warm and dry September. October is actually dry but quite cold, and then November is just a nondescript, mild, damp sort of month. At number 7, we've got 2017. The autumn of 2017 has a trough of low pressure out to our east, and high pressure is away to west, often bringing the wind from west-northwesterly direction. That's quite a cool wet September in 2017. I think that's the last time you had a classic sort of coolish, wettish September. October 2017 is very warm. Of course, we have the remains of Hurricane Ophelia, and then a few cold snaps to round things off in November of 2017. Just 1 year on to 2018, the 6th hottest June is 2018. This was a CT, remember, with again high pressure away to our east, low pressures away to west. These are all from 1950 onwards as well, by the way, and winds are coming up from a southerly direction. That's quite a dry and warm autumn again in 2018. We've got number 5, 1960. This is from a long time ago, of course, but it's a very wet autumn. This one, a little bit of a blocking signal up to our north, but the main thing with that autumn is that it is really quite a wet one. Okay, at number 4, we've got 1950. So we've got 1960, 1950, and there is another naught to come as well. At number 4, we've got 1950. This one also is a wet autumn with low pressure in the North Atlantic into northern parts of Europe as well. Very unsettled autumn. At number 3, we've got 1970. So I have a sequence there of 1960, 1950, 1970. How strange. So at number 3, we've got 1970 with below average heights to the north and high above average heights to the south. That again, quite an unsettled but also a rather mild autumn that we have there. At number 2, we've got 1976. This is also a wet autumn following the 2nd hottest June of the CT on record with below average heights, low pressure through UK, Ireland and also western parts of Europe. We make up the drought in one season. There's a 2.5 year drought starting in 1974 and ending at the end of the summer of 76, and by the end of the autumn of 76, we've made it all back. That is how wet the autumn of 1976 was. Unbelievable. And then at number 1, wow, it's 2023, but we do not know what the autumn analogue will look like yet. We don't know yet, but that's what we're trying to answer with our updates and our forecasts. We've got questions to answer, questions, and yeah, you're going to find out on the 27th of August what we're forecasting for the autumn. Right, let's put all that together then. So this is our top 10 hottest Junes on record, look in terms of all Septembers combined. Unsettled signal for these Septembers with below average heights in the North Atlantic and into West Europe as well. So quite a cool wet September seems to start us off. All Octobers combined look like that. Some higher pressure appearing towards Scandinavia. We tend to get low pressure to our west and south, and we tend to bring the wind in from an easterly direction then. And then all Novembers combined look like this again with below average heights in from the Atlantic into western parts of Europe. So clearly an unsettled, quite wet signal for a lot of these autumns with low pressure in the ascendancy, particularly in September and November. That would be a mild signal, by the way, for November. There won't be much cold potential with that, as it is quite Atlantic driven. It's how all autumns combined, looking following the top 10 hottest Junes, and it is a wet signal, low pressure in the Atlantic into west of Europe as well, from an unsettled and wet but relatively mild signal for those autumns. And yeah, you know, that's how the first set of analogues are coming out. Now, I'm going to pause the video very quickly there, and we'll be back with our second set, looking at England and Wales precipitation for June. More about that in a second. See you in a moment. Okay, we're back and we're ready to resume the fourth autumn 2023 update from GavsWeatherVids. It's been a very long day. I've been churning out video after video like a conveyor belt today. So, yes, this is the fourth autumn 2023 update. Ready to resume. I've just shut the curtains. The sun's starting to catch my eye a little bit. So let's resume then. We was looking at some very interesting CT data a moment ago. We're going to carry on. We're going to continue now looking at England and Wales precipitation. So here we go then. We haven't got the finalised number in for England and Wales precipitation for June 2023 yet, but we can see that up to the 29th of June, we are at 45.9 millimetres. which was 65% of average. So a drier than average June, as well as being the hottest June for the CT since 1846. Quite a remarkable June, to say the least. We don't know quite where that's going to finish up, but it should be greatly away from there. So it'll be around 45, 46 millimeters, I think, in the end. And so for our second batch of analogues, we're going to be looking at autumns following Junes with an England Wales precipitation range of 40 to 50 millimeters. And the first autumn we're looking at is 1950 again. It showed up in the first package of analogues. It's back again. This one, as we saw earlier on, has below average heights, low pressure in the North Atlantic and into North and West Europe, so quite an unsettled and wet signal for 1950. Our next autumn, following June with an England-Wales precipitation range of 40 to 50 millimeters, is 1959. This is a much drier autumn. We haven't seen many really dry autumns in this update so far, but this is one of them. This has high pressure dominating across Northern and also Western Europe. Very extended summer. I've talked about this before. The summer starts in the spring. It still goes on into September and October of 1959. Just at the end of October, it begins to flip, and November 1959 is actually quite a wettish month. But most of the autumn is dry and warm in 1959. 1967, we're back to unsettled autumns again, with below average heights, low pressure in the North Atlantic and into the Northwest Europe. That's quite a wet and mild autumn. 1970, we saw it earlier on. It's back again. High pressure to the south, low pressure is away to the north. I don't expect to see any surprise that, like, the warmer Junes tend to also be relatively dry a lot of the time as well. So we can expect a bit of overlap with these years. This one with high pressure to the south, low pressure to the north, generally quite mild. And then we've got 1981. Autumn of 1981 is quite a wet autumn, relatively mild. High pressure towards Spain keeps the wind in from the Atlantic. September starts dry and warm, but after the first 10 days turns cool and wet. Very wet into September 1981. In the last week, there is flooding rains. October 1981 is also wet. Becomes quite cold as well in October of 81, so cold and wet month. And then November is also unsettled, plenty of rain, and has a lot of tornadic activity in November 1981. Very interesting autumn, that one. 1984 is another wet autumn, following June. England Wales precipitation range of 40 to 50 millimeters. This with loads of low pressure in off the Atlantic, lots of wet weather. And relatively mild autumn. There's not much way of cold weather, but does have lots of wet weather. Wet September again in 1984. 1986 is a drier autumn. Has high pressure over to south country, low pressure more toward the north. The most notable thing about this autumn is that it has a really cold September. The last time I had a September CET in the 11s is in 1986. Then October, November are milder months, and quite a lot of dry weather, but some rain at times, of course, as well. The autumn of 1988 is relatively mild and dry, but does have a colder snap in November of 1988, and then a long gap through to 2000. This is a phenomenally wet autumn, following June in Wales precipitation range of 40 to 50 millimeters. This one is just an absolutely soaking autumn from start to finish. Flooding rains, large portions of the country flooded out in the autumn of 2000. Very, very wet autumn indeed. And then we got 2001, which is a much drier autumn. Has a little bit of everything. Overall, the analogue has high pressure over into the west of the country. Has quite a coolish and mixed September in 2001. A very warm October. I think it's still the warmest October on record, and then November has a few colder snaps and is rather drier. 2010, very interesting autumn. This one, suffered below average heights across the north and the west of Europe, with blocking up towards Greenland. What does that do? Well, it brings the wind into a cold northeasterly. And so the autumn of 2010 is quite unsettled in September. alternates between dry and warm spells. Seating is about average. October is quite dry, but starts to get a bit colder, and then it's really in the second half of November that we start to get that freeze up that carries on into the December to November of 2010. Overall, it is one of the cooler autumns that we've had since 1993. Haven't had many of them, but that is one. And then finally, we've got 2014. This is a warm autumn with high pressure to the east and low pressure is out to west, and we're drawing up the wind from a southerly direction in that autumn. And so, putting all of that together, this is how all September's combined are looking, following an England-Wales precipitation range of 40 to 50 millimetres, a wet signal for those Septembers, with low pressure in the Atlantic and into northern parts of Europe as well. So a wettish signal for the Septembers. For the Octobers, combined also looking unsettled with low pressure away to the north and to the northwest. Again, we bring the wind in from off the Atlantic. Wet signal for the Octobers. And the Novembers, all Novembers combined again with lots of low pressure in the North Atlantic and into west of Europe as well. So lots of wet weather likely there as well. Finally, all autumns combined, following England-Wales precipitation range of 40 to 50 millimetres, look like this. Low pressure in the North Atlantic and into northern parts of Europe. A wet signal for those autumns, generally mild, wet and whatnot for the autumns that we see there, following England-Wales precipitation range in June of 14 to 50 millimetres. Both sets of analogues, interestingly, seem to be followed on average. There are deviations, of course, within this, but on average, both sets of analogues followed by unsettled autumn. So if you have a warm, dry June, maybe you get paid back for it in the autumn. That could be what's going on there. Let me know in the comments what you think. Right, that's your fourth autumn 2023 update done, Dusty. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. I have to say thank you so much to all of you. Thank you so much to Richard for the amazing autumn 2023 updates gift. Thank you so much to Shryan as well for sorting out all of the years for us. Amazing. Hashtag Team Gav. Absolutely superb. Thank you so much, Bo. I'm not sure it's going to be an autumn update next week. I might have next weekend off, or a lot of it anyway. I might pop down to London, to Hyde Park, and see Bruce Springsteen playing Hyde Park, and maybe have an overnight stay in a hotel. I'm not sure yet, just a possibility. So if I don't do much next weekend, that will be the reason why. So the fifth autumn update might be next Sunday. It might be the following Sunday. However, whenever it is, I'm sure it's going to be a good one. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We're going to be back a little bit later on with a 10 of Autumn Day, and also going to be live streaming at 6 p.m. for the fourth Autumn 2023 update. That's all for now, and thanks so much.